You know, most startup founders, and I think in general, it's also the same as dating. Yeah? Don't go to a date and say, hopefully he or she likes me. Hopefully I like him or her.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wasted my time at the table.
Yeah.
And that's the same. I'm going to venture to get investment, not with the attitude, hopefully they like what I'm doing, that I'm getting money.
Yeah.
I say, hopefully I like that guy, that I can work with him to get me to that goal.
Yes.
Because I'm adding value. The reason don't forget that. The reason he puts money down is because he thinks he gets more out of it. You are the vehicle to make more.
Hi everyone, I'm Audrey. Welcome to another episode of the Mini CEO podcast. Today we have Christian here and we are in Nong, which is one of the districts in Thailand. Apparently we are also attending the same wedding of our friend Michelle, who have also done a podcast on the Mini CEO podcast before. So today I'd like Christian to briefly introduce yourself first.
My name is Christian W. Schnepf. I'm a PhD researcher. I also have my startup. We have a live navigation system and dashboard to improve and maximize good times for our users and everyone. So I did a lot of research the recent years, asking myself the question, what makes life worth living and gives us a great time, and how can we improve it? Based on this, I developed a metric, the good time ratio, GTR, to measure life satisfaction. And drawing out of this, I realized there's a way to do this algorithmically. So with the mission that I'm helping people with the work as a coach also, and as a public speaker, to improve their lives in a way that they say, I truly love living my life. And maybe a startup, having a startup, founding a startup is the way to do this.
Wow, amazing. And I think I want to ask you straight away what is a good time ratio means, and how do I as a startup founder measure myself as well with this metric?
The good time ratio is, in very simple terms, basically is measuring the time you feel attracted to spend in versus the time you feel not attracted to. So you try to avoid. And there's a difference between a good time and okay time or a not good time. So if I'm having a bad time, I'm feeling like I want to escape out of that situation. Perhaps you're having a meeting and you say, I really don't enjoy that right now. I do this work at home and I really don't enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
So if you have the sense of, I'd rather getting out of here, or my motivations come from avoid a problem, that's usually a bad time. And after that, after you got out of that issue, you're usually in an okay time. So you don't have a good time, you not have a bad time, you're not run away from anything, you neither run away towards something, and that's okay. And a good time is something you say, I really like to experience this. So you're attracted towards this. A good time can be given by the people you spend the time with. A good time can also be given with the place you're in or the tasks you're doing. And the good time ratio is measuring exactly this proportion of the time you feel attracted to experience versus the proportion of the time you're not feeling attracted to experience.
And your dashboard is meant to capture that whole entire progress. So for example, I can imagine myself looking at my dashboard. So for example, I've done many iterations of my pitch deck to pitch to investors. There's no joke, like I think I've made like hundreds of iterations. And just last week, I was also making iterations for a pitch. And I can feel myself procrastinating for about a week. And when David, my co-founder, asked me, have you done that yet? I said, no, I'm procrastinating. And I'm just so exhausted in iterating again and again. And it's just a never-ending process to change the deck, to pitch, to tailor it to investors and pitch it to them. So I guess it was fun the first 6 to 8 months, and now it's been a year. It's not so okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, you got to ask yourself, did you enjoy making those pitch decks in the first moment? And if you enjoyed it, great, it gave you a good time doing this. But to have a good time, we basically consider 5 areas of life. This is a total area. This is basically where your life is happening, where humans are capable of experience attraction or an aversion from something. And the 5 areas is the things you're doing. This is doing your pitch deck.
Yeah.
And another area is the things you're getting. So, for example, getting an investor. And those 2 need to be linked. I'm talking about this in a moment if you want. Just to conclude the 5 areas. Another area is where you are. So are you attracted to the place you are? Then the people, are you attracted to spend the time with the people you're spending the time with? And the most important and last area is yourself. Are you attracted by yourself? To spend time with yourself, to be who you are. And basically all this journey, any journey throughout life, including as a startup founder, is only adding up and leading to the ultimate goal that you're ultimately satisfied with your being. So the people you spend your time with, the place you are, the things you do and the things you get should add up to increase the satisfaction of who you are.
Yeah.
And this is the personal growth. Everything else is just conceptual. I mean, factually, there is no such thing as a company. That's a piece of paper all of us agreed to that it exists. Factually, there is no such thing as money. And even relationships, that's a concept. We don't have relationships. We only spend time with people. But we come up with this idea, I have a relationship. But the goal is that all of those things support me to become me better every day. So where it becomes frustrating if you make this pitch is if the link between the action area and the get area, so the obtainment area, is not concluded. So you put efforts in, and that gives you a good time. But at one point, like, let's talk in energetic terms. If you put energy into something, like creating this pitch deck, at one point energy needs to flow back.
Yep.
And if this is missing, it's getting frustrated.
I think it's not just for me, but I've met so many startup founders, because we need to look at also the ecosystem layer of it, like the market and the environment. If there's not many investors were investing, and they were just out fishing, for example, for startups, so that when they have funds deployed, they can then invest in the startups. So right now it's called, for example, funding winter. There's no funds flowing around the market.
Yeah.
And that's why startup founders like us, we still need to get ourselves out there, to get to meet VCs and to pitch to them, to get them interested before the money comes in. Yeah. So at this stage we are in right now, the entire year, there's no funding. We know that very clearly, but we still have to do that to get ourselves out there in front of the VC. So that's why we are not getting any reward for this year. That's just what I want to summarize it. And definitely no energy flowing in. That's for sure. Yeah.
But on the other hand, you also can pay attention to that the energy you're having is flowing within you. So if when I had my first business, I was 20, and I slowly compromised on my self-care. So it's one thing what I did and another thing what I got, but it's a totally different thing about me being functional. And I stopped going to the gym. I stopped paying attention to my sleeping rhythm, and I was starting to work until night, 3, 4 a.m. And that slowly messed up everything.
Yeah.
So I was eventually very dissatisfied with myself. The energy inside of me didn't flow.
Right.
And I think this is something that is 100% within our control. So saying, okay, maybe there's a funding winter. Maybe I'm stuck a little bit in one aspect of what I need, because the gets is more than just money. The money is one part of it, but acknowledgement is another part of it.
Yes.
And you can come up with many things that are given to you. The food you're eating, how satisfied are you with that stuff? But what is very within our control is how satisfied we are with ourselves.
Yeah.
So the energy I'm having, is it flowing? Can I still move? And having this perspective, having this holistic framework, and seeing basically there's only a little bit of I only stuck a little bit in this one area.
Yes.
But let's don't make it everything too dramatic, yeah? Other areas are still working. I don't have to sacrifice on the other things. When I had my first business, I got completely stressed about this one part of my life, and it messed up all the other parts.
Yes.
And that is not worth it.
Not
because the thing is, if you're collapsing, who is going to do the work? No. So even for the purpose you're having to build this business, if you're not functioning, then nothing is moving at all.
Yeah.
And that's your biggest asset. It's literally your energy is your biggest asset. So keeping this overview of your life and balancing all of those things. Don't want to get too much into this energy term, but basically balancing the energy flow across your life and not letting it collapse in areas that are within your control because of one area out of your control is not flowing. That is your duty. That is your responsibility.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you said, because that's just one part. And when I got stuck like this, like continuing back the story where David asked me, have you done your pitch deck iterations? I said, no, I'm procrastinating. And I told David is that, hey, I can still focus on my marketing side of things that I haven't done, like maybe update my website and, you know, churn more contents to post on social media. That's where I can control, right? So that's also what makes me really excited about, because I really enjoy doing marketing, content stuff like that. So one way it's stuck, but another door opens for me to explore over there. But I want to add on to that, right? I understand, like nowadays, because I've been following startup journey, like there's Y Combinator, startup videos and all that stuff. And looking at this trend where startup founders has been really focusing on their well-being and the emotional health, even though they are running startups, it's so stressful for them, it's pulling them in all across area. But I think more and more founders are really focusing on emotional and well-being, like what you said.
It is absolutely crucial. You need to function. I remember it the first time when I got into university and I had exams. It is just a lot. And if you have to prepare for an exam and you have a few days, rushing through the night, your brain is not getting more input. Back then, when I realized that this is so much for me to study, I developed actually a study principle, a study framework, how to learn efficiently. And I even toured through my country, Germany, back then, to give speeches about efficient learning. And one part of it was definitely the self-care part. Like, yes, I can add another hour to study. I can add another hour tonight to work. But my productivity to get in is so low. So say it after 2 hours of working, after 2-3 hours of working, my productivity drops from 100% to say 50%. So after 6 hours, it's down to 10%. I'm making up those numbers, but it's dropping drastically. So if you work the 7th hour, you're working on 10% productivity. If you instead would stop here and work the next day for an hour. So after 7 hours, with 10% productivity, you need to work for 10 hours to get the same stuff done than you would need well rested 1 hour for. It's the math.
Yeah.
And we somehow fall into this trap that we think, no, I need to do more. Which brings me back to the principle of what is a good time. A good time is actually where energy is flowing towards something. And a bad time is when energy is blocked from doing where it wants to flow, and you do it only because you want to avoid a problem. So you only keep pushing forward because you want to avoid the problem that if you're not doing it, then something bad is happening. And this is actually blocking you from progressing properly. So resting and saying the next day, let me do something towards an outcome I really look forward to, you have much more energy and you're much more productive. And being in a startup, building your business, we get so easily obsessed with those to-do lists. I came up with a to-do list and this needs to be done. And in the beginning, we say, for example, I need investment. In order to get investment, I need a VC. I need somehow money from a venture capital firm. And in order to get that money, I need to pitch. So now we believe I need to make the pitch decks. And we stick to those pitch decks. And we optimize and pitch decks. Zoom out for a moment. It was about getting funding. And actually, it wasn't even about getting funding. It was about getting that product on the market, that people are using it. And having funding is one way of it. Another way is you get a team of a lot of very engaged individuals who say, let me just contribute every spare minute of my time to help building something that the product is ready and we make revenue with it. And that's another way. And then you wouldn't even need money. But let's say, okay, maybe we don't get people to participate voluntarily. Then we need money. Okay, great. But is venture capital the only way to get money? Maybe there is a different way. Maybe I can work somewhere else. There are cases where I recently heard from a case study. Don't know if I get it 100% correctly again. But there was a guy who funded his startup by building a restaurant, which was a proven business model. And he made money with that. And that money was made with it. He put in his startup. He didn't need the venture capital firm. He didn't need any external investment. So there are different ways. So don't get obsessed with I need money from someone from the outside. But even if it's from the outside, it doesn't have to be a venture capital. It can be a private investor. But let's assume it is a venture capital. Even if it is a venture capital firm that I'm depending on, then is it the only way to get it by making a pitch deck? Is it really the only way? Or is there another way? Venture capital firms are eventually still individuals who are in decision-making positions.
It could be a video.
It could be a video. It could be an introduction from someone trustworthy. The reason you make this pitch deck in the first place, the reason they want to see all of those numbers, psychologically it comes down to, I want to have peace in my decision-making. So if I give you money, I want to feel like there's a high chance that this is working out for me. And it's a feeling. And every number you present, every great graphic is only supporting this sense of I can be in peace and can trust that this could work out for me. That's psychologically it comes down to. That's why we have high quality introductions. That's why we have beautiful designed pitch decks. That's why we have business partners and present all of their past experiences as credibility. It all comes down to I want you to get
Trust.
this feeling of is trustworthy. But it's a feeling, and that feeling is temporary. And that feeling can also be created if you bring that one individual. If you get introduced by someone that person trusts already, that's another. The decision maker, if he has a very good friend from university, they made a couple of businesses together, and that guy says, check Audrey out and her business. I really trust her. There's a high chance that you improving the chances drastically that you get accepted. And if you treat him instead of a cold business room and sit there on a stiff chair and say, hello, here's my cold water, but instead being like here and have a cozy chair in a relaxed environment, talk on a wedding to that person, it builds more trust. So what I'm saying is there are many ways to get to what you want, get clarity about, again, what is actually what we want, why am I into this? And is the approach I'm currently running the only approach to get to that point? Likely not. There are 1,000 ways.
That's why they say startup is never a straight line.
And
it's always like the curve is curving you all the way, take you somewhere else.
100%. And your job as a startup founder is basically learning all of those skill sets to navigate flexibly and finding the nicest path and staying flexibly, not getting obsessed. If you're getting obsessed with one task that has to be done, you're better off being an employee. Because that is the task you give to an employee. And that employee is saying, okay, I don't want to think outside of the box. I don't want to I don't want to create my own logics. I want to have a structure and I want to stick in that structure. But a startup is not a structure. It's not a fixed structure yet. You're creating that structure. And ideally, you're not enforcing a structure. You're flowing like a river and see where should be the river, where should it flow. And then after the river was flowing and you say, this is how it goes, then you build the borders and say, let's stabilize this flow of this river in that direction. So whoever is coming, he's flowing through that direction. But don't let me force people that we have to go that direction. Maybe it's not working that way for you.
That's a lot to unpack when I was listening to your story. I think the first thing I want to address is that from the beginning of when you said that there's a long checklist or a to-do list for startup founders to check everything, to complete everything. Otherwise, the startup won't, move in a positive direction or things like that. So I think I'm in one of those places before, as what you described, is that I'm in one of those places where you describe as there's so many things to do as a founder myself. And I get tired, exhausted, and there's just so many things to do, including I need to do the accounting, I need to do marketing content, pitch decks, everything, like you said. And if there's the mindset that in me, if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. How can you take a step back from this chaotic moment? There's so many things to do, there's so many deadlines that I need to submit and all that stuff, and still do it in a way where I can still feel like me. I'm not being pulled apart by these tasks.
Well, maybe start with who gives you the tasks.
Myself.
Why do you give yourself the tasks?
There's this sense of urgency that if I don't do it, my startup won't move.
Okay, what would you have to do that your startup is moving? This is exactly the energy. A lot of people get into this, and I find myself sometimes drawn thinking in that pattern as well. I'm doing this because I want to avoid a problem. In your case, if I don't do that, then my startup fails. So it is this fear-driven energy. But this is not a creative energy. This is a management energy. This is a controlling energy. And the reason people go to your place, go buy your products, give you money as an investor, is not because they are afraid of, if I'm not doing it, then I'm having a problem. They want to give that because they say, if I give it, if I buy that product, if I put my investment in it, then I'm going to be better off. It's great for me. I'm not putting that out of scarcity. I'm not putting that out of fear into your business. I'm fine, but with it, I'm better. So in other words, they are attracted by your product. They are attracted by your business. So you need to create something that is attractive. And if you're creating it out of the energy of avoiding a problem, you're only building what is good enough. That is not attractive. This is not a nice place to be. It's like sending a student to a lecture. It is a student goes there, I need to listen to the lecture, otherwise I don't get my degree. You know what you don't have to force a student to? Now let me ask it differently. I think it's a great metaphor. Would a student ever be willing to say, let me put 1,000 euros, which I have to save for, or $1,000 I have to save for, say, 6 months to afford this $1,000. Let me put this $1,000 in that I can sit for 2 days in a lecture and listen to that lecture, traveling 500 kilometers and sleeping in a tent on the ground in dirty clothes without a shower and standing in line for 3 hours. Would a student do that just to listen to a lecture? Not, right. But you know what students do? They do this all the time to go to a festival. They travel to another country, stand in line in a shitty car.
There's no toilets as well.
Exactly, sleep on the ground, and they put their last savings on it, everything they have, just to listen to an artist. And the very difference is no one forced them to listen to this artist.
I think Coachella is one.
Huh?
Coachella, the festival in Glastonbury. Yeah.
I don't know. Those festivals are worldwide. In Europe, it's a couple of different.
There's Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland,
as well.
exactly.
Yes.
And so people do this all the time to consider the worst conditions just to have this experience. And that difference is the experience is something attractive. So it outweighs all the other costs to do that. I want to have this experience. So in order to create this experience, imagine there would be an artist who says, I'm only playing safe. I only make the songs with the basic beats that are good enough that you can consider it as music. Then no one would come. No one would come. But every artist who is scarce, is fear-driven, would exactly end up creating such songs. The artists who say, I'm not fear-driven, I want to create art. Let me make a beat and let me mess it up here a little bit and add something here that no one has heard before. Like just a break in between and make a high tone and make some I don't know, children cartoon songs above. It's basically crashing the song, but it is also creating something people haven't seen before, and that's super attractive, and that's worth creating, and worth coming to. And that's the energy you want to have when you're creating a product. That's the energy you want to have when you're creating a startup. That's exactly what an investor, or even if it's crowdfunding, it's basically your future customers, what are drawn towards experiencing. This is this, wow, I want to have this thing. I'm not just here to solve a problem, because the moment the problem is solved, I'm not coming here again. And if there's any other offer out there, any other opportunity to solve that problem, I would go to the other offer. But it's not about that.
It's about the experience as well.
They come to you, even though there are alternative offers to solve a problem, they would choose you because you don't only stop where the problem is solved. You add something on top where they say, I get an experience I don't get anywhere else. And it comes at the end down to your energy as a founder. Let me give you a case study, not a more or less case study. I'm coaching here and there. Meanwhile, just exclusively for 2-3 people a year. But in the past, I did this more intensively. And I was always asking myself, why are people hiring me? It was difficult to pinpoint with a metric. So I developed the metric meanwhile, but that's another story. But back then, I asked once a client then, why do you pay me? Why do you hire me?
Yeah.
And the client told me, because of your energy. I said, because of my energy you can't buy. What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, I figured out with my PhD research, it is all about the energy. It's the only reason you pay anything. It is literally the sense of, I'm feeling calm and I'm feeling excited at the same time to look forward towards something. And if you come in as a regular coach or as a regular product offer and say, I'm helping you to address this, people have their skepticism and say, well, is this true? Maybe. Give me more proof. And they need reasons and reasons and reasons just to feel calm and say, let's just do it. But if you step into the room and you say, how are you doing? Let's make it better. And have this pure energy and it's grounded in a real why. People say, I want to be part of that. I want to have this energy. And wait a second, what you're offering was the reason you got this energy? I want to have what you got because I want to end up there.
Yeah.
At the very least, I want to hang out with you. I want to be part of this group. And that is an energy where you're creating something. So your duty basically as a founder, you are alone. The people, why they come to you is because of you. And is because of basically the energy you're spreading. So your job is to keep that energy high. Because that's the attractiveness. That's the reason they come to you. I got a private investor when I had nothing to show. I did proper research, but pre-revenue. And he wasn't the only one who said, I want to invest.
Wow.
And I didn't have anything. And later I got a couple of compliments from people and said, you got a private investor pre-revenue, before pre-company. And it's exactly for that reason, because of the why. But I also want to clarify, I never did it for the money. I literally was obsessed with the idea, how can I maximize good times? How can I create a life I love living? That is my why. I have a deep story behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's my story. Everyone has his or her story why they do what they do. But you need to be clear about why.
Yes.
And for me, I answered it to myself. Whether you invest or not, I give a fuck because I'm going on. And someone will. And if I don't get money from anyone, I just keep going alone. And if I'm ending up being broke along the way, then that's how it is. But I keep walking because I answer to myself, I do not have another choice but going that direction. And people realize that.
Yeah.
Say, okay, you're walking there anyway. And eventually you're making steps, you're progressing in the steps. And you're already a few steps further than
the rest of
your peers. Or as you have been last year. And now you're a few steps even further. So there is apparently some progress. And sooner or later, because I'm drawn towards something, I don't just stop, I just keep walking. So I walk further than someone who said, I'm just doing it to solve a problem. No, I keep walking because I don't just want to solve a problem. I'm not far in, it's not about I'm far enough away from the pain point. I want to get closer to where I want to go.
Your goal.
And people, when they notice this, say that if it resonates, if the goal resonates with them, they say, let me walk with you. It is not a question. I don't have to question whether you go there. I trust you anyway. You go there anyway. So I don't have to question this. It's not really uncertain whether we end up at the goal or not. For me, it's just, do I want to be at that goal as well? And if yes, that's my best bet to walk with you because you're heading there anyway, with me or without me.
This is amazing perspective that I think we're in Southeast Asia, right? In Asia countries where there's so many founders I speak to, everything you said, I read it from a book or business books. Not exactly the word by words, but you have your perspective that it doesn't translate to how exactly Asians think. And when I work in the Asian startup ecosystem, people are so focused in the metrics, the financial model, how you make money and all that stuff. They don't think like what you say, where if you have a goal to achieve and everyone will follow you if they also have the same thoughts about where you are headed to. I think in this part, how do you convince the rest of the people to follow you on the same journey? Like, how do you do this without excessively pitching your journey or your idea or your goals?
Of course, you have to communicate it.
But how else do you communicate besides just pitching to the VC or just maybe telling someone else your idea?
Maybe we start about what are you pitching? Do you pitch like, hey, these are the numbers you can reach, etc.? Or do you pitch the vision? Because there's a saying, what was it? If you want to sail to the horizon, don't teach people how to build a boat. Teach them about the horizon, and they will build a boat for you. It is the vision. And you as a founder, you have this vision. That's why you got into it. So you're visualizing this, and you can see it already. For you, in your mind, this is already real. And you see it as crystal clear. It's like a picture. You not just drew the frame, you drew all the outlines, you drew the colors in it. You make this so vivid that it feels like realistic. It's like another world. It is existing already. And for you, you visited that world in your mind already, so you know how it is. And when you tell someone about it, you need to let them see this vision. Say, feel this. Can you see what I see? This is where I'm heading. Can you feel that? This is something amazing, and I feel this. Does it resonate with you? You don't have to tell them about, this is my plan. This comes so much later. It comes really much later, if at all. Simon Sinek was already saying, start with why.
Yeah.
In his speech, he said, Martin Luther King didn't say, I have a plan. He said, I have a dream. And as Martin Luther King was describing his dream, he drew a vision. I was suicidal many years ago because of my first business, where I realized things are working, but I'm yet not fulfilled. So where is this heading? Where is my life leading towards? I saw no point in it. But the thing how I got out of suicidal thoughts was actually having a bit of hope, having a vision it could be different. And this vision grew. I said, what if my life could be incredible? And I love it every morning I wake up. And that vision grew. And that eventually let me set out to find a way how.
Wow.
And that how is, if you're alone, you do it all of yourself.
Yeah.
But if your vision is big enough and others touch on it, the how can be flexible, that can change. As Steve Jobs was saying, I think he said in his, once to his employees, or somewhere, I heard it somewhere, that he said, if you, I think San Francisco, he said, if you want to fly to San Francisco, you ask people, do you want to fly to San Francisco? And if they want to fly to San Francisco, then you say, let's fly together, or let's go there together. And in that moment, you're just debating with your team, how do we get there? But you don't question the goal, the destination of flying to San Francisco. And if you don't want to fly there, or if you don't want to go there, then okay, someone else. But if you're not clear about that goal, then you're debating suddenly the destination. And it's like, why do we talk about the destination? I thought we're clear, we're going there. So now let's talk about how do we get there the best way. And maybe we take the taxi to the airport and figuring out there's a different vehicle that gets us faster there. Then we take a different vehicle than the plane. But maybe it's the plane. And that gives the freedom to the team to develop actually solutions that lead to the goal without telling them the path.
Something stuck on my mind when you mentioned the 5 areas that you developed. The last one, which is you, what makes you you, was something like that. And my question would be, for example, for first-time founders or first-time jumping into doing a business, they don't develop the sense of how business owners think yet. And they get a lot of mentors, telling them you should do A, and another mentor say you should do B. For example, it's pulling this founder, the first-time founder, in all different directions.
Absolutely.
And they don't know whose mentors' advice to take. So when you say this area, what would you advise the first-time founder? Because there's no you developed yet.
Let me clarify this. The area is basically telling how much you're attracted to being yourself. So it's not about defining who you are. It's about how much you're attracted to yourself. And so far we could pinpoint in my research that there are 4 components that make up the self, where you can feel attracted to or blocked from. And it's basically your mind, your heart, and your soul. Spiritually speaking, practically speaking, in physical energy, it's like, how much peace do you have inside of you? How high is your energy level? How attracted are you with your energy level? God, I have to take a look at those. Your peace of mind, your energy level, your bodily comfort. How comfortable are you in your body? And those are the points where you're focusing on, that you feel like I'm attracted to all of those aspects. And if this is working for you, then just keep it up. But if you start crashing in your sleeping rhythm, for example, then your energy level is dropping. If you start crashing into your physical health and your nutrition and your movement, then your bodily comfort is decreasing, which ends up in sickness. So keep yourself functioning. And when it comes to the question, whom to listen to as a mentor, well, a good rule of thumb is, don't listen to the guy who tries to get you to a different goal. A mentor's role is not to tell you the direction. A mentor's role is helping you to get to your vision. So you need to get clear about, where do I want to go, not how do I want to get there. A mentor helping you how to get there, how to navigate through the jungle, not telling you what the goal. When I started with my PhD, I was crystal clear about what I want to research on. I had my why. I want to maximize good times. I want to create a life that I love living. and I want to figure out what impacts that. And that was crystal clear direction. I applied for this while I had my business on the side. So I wanted to do proper research, and it did not depend on the PhD whatsoever. So while I was figuring out the ways that helped me to know those data, my professor always was saying, "But do you want to research on that? That's much more fascinating for him." And I said, "Not for me." And he, over time, again and again, and some years later, and I always said, whether there or nowhere. And at one point, he gave up on influencing, and he told me later, "Well, I gave up on guiding you." I said, "You never guided me." And he said, "No, I tried." I said, "You never tried guiding me. You tried to tell me a different goal.
Where to go.
And that is not your fucking job. Your job is to support me getting to my direction and helping me. Wait, if you want to get research done in that field, maybe you want to consider more qualitative research rather than quantitative research. Maybe you want to, maybe you need to publish some papers on that topic in that journal. But don't tell me the change of a question. That is my question. If you have a different question, do your own research. That is not his job. So he is supposed, for everyone who is not familiar with how a PhD works, it's not a bachelor study or master study where you learn from your professors. You come there with an intention, and you have basically a mentor on your side. Your professor is your mentor. And that's the very same as in business. Your mentor is not supposed to change your goal. Your mentor is supposed to help you how to reach your goal in smarter ways than you can think of with your experience.
Unfortunately, most of these mentors, they are actually the VC themselves, and they are putting down the money. So they have this term, it's called... Oh no, what is that?
A bird shit on me.
Oh, was it?
Apparently.
Really?
I have another shirt with me. It's
okay, great. Interesting.
Good for you. Good for you.
Make sure my hair is not. So these VCs are also mentors to the startups, and apparently there's this term called whether this startup is coachable or not. So it means when they say if you are coachable and things like that, it means you listen to them and you go to their direction. And of course, most startup founders, it's very tricky. If you want to get the VC money, you kind of like pivot to what they actually want. For example, the business, if you are B2C and they are investing in B2B, and then you have to pivot to get the investment. But it depends on really how strong the founder mindset is on his goal or her goal. And to achieve that, he don't sway by just where the money is or where the mentor is advising them to go. It's really pulling them in all different directions, like I mentioned. But I think you gave a very good perspective that if that's the goal that you want to go, don't let people talk you into another path.
You should ask yourself, why do I do what I do in the first place? Why do I start a business? Why do I start a startup? And it comes down to this: I want to maximize my good times as good as possible during the process for as long as possible for the future to come. And a startup is my way to do this. And in order to do this, basically before I'm founding a startup, that's my vision. I want to create this solution which helps me to maximize good times. And if I had a startup, then it would get me to there. So you're breaking this down. And then you're saying, okay, my startup is supposed to lead to this vision. And that's why I'm building it. And you need to be so clear about this. Let's come back to Steve Jobs was saying, do we fly to San Francisco? You pitch, I go to San Francisco. Who wants to come with me? And if there's a venture capitalist who says, I'm investing money, say, don't talk about money for a moment. Do you want to fly to San Francisco? Yes, no. If he says, no, I want to make money, then you say, out, you're done. I don't need you. You know, most startup founders, and I think in general, it's also the same as dating. Don't go to a date and say, hopefully he or she likes me. Hopefully I like him or her. Because otherwise I wasted my time at the table. And that's the same. I'm going to a venture to get investment, not with the attitude, hopefully they like what I'm doing, that I'm getting money.
Yeah.
I say, hopefully I like that guy,
Yeah.
that I can work with him to get me to that goal.
Yes.
Because I'm adding value. The reason don't forget that, the reason he puts money down is because he thinks he gets more out of it. You are the vehicle to make more.
Yeah.
And as venture capitalists have more cash accumulated over time, and in society we always frame like more money equals more success, they feel sometimes being in a better position and saying, I'm looking down to you a little bit. You're the one who needs something from me. Don't forget that. That's not true. That's part of it, but it's a deal. You need something from me the same way. So if you want to put money into my business, better prove that you are worthy putting your money into my business.
Yep.
And my business is heading that direction. Don't think like you have more power over me just because you haven't put money in it. Because if I'm not leading to that direction, nothing is working. So I think it is so much worth, firstly, to get clarity on your direction, very clear for yourself. Answer to yourself, is this really where I want to go? But when you're crystal clear about this, taking more time in the beginning, with whom am I working together? And it's stakeholders. We know the term. A stakeholder can be a shareholder, can be an employee, can be customers. Choose them wisely. Because the moment you have them onboarded, you have obligations to them. And the question is, what deal did you agree to? Did you have a deal that you say, yes, I'm going to make you more money? Is this the deal? Or is your deal, I'm going to get us to that vision? I'm working towards that. And you don't want to, while you're on that path, you don't want to split your mind with all the obligations. I need to please this shareholder now. I please this shareholder. You're not better off than, actually you're worse off than most employees. I know someone in the past I worked together, he had 2 big businesses, had a lot of investors. They wanted to fire him after a while, and he was the slave of those investors because he had to please all of them. And his vision wasn't stable enough in the first place. He got into the business because he said, I want to be my own founder and I want to make money. And now I got all the investor money. So look at me, I have a lot of investor money. But you're pleasing those guys, and it was for the money, but not for the direction.
It's worse if all these investors, the direction of each of these investors is different, and he has to please in all different areas. It's not just one goal that he wants to go.
Absolutely. And if you are so clear about the goal and find someone, make an audit, like go on dates. Meeting investors is like going on dates. Go on dates and see, is this a match? Do we want to go in that direction? Do we see the same vision? Why are you into it? And if the only reason is of the investor because I want to put money in it, that's a red flag.
Wow.
That's usually a red flag. Big venture capital firms are like this, but think about it, most venture capital firms are also run by employees who say, I have a business, I have KPIs to meet. And it is not the energy you need. Look at the founder, what was his name? Adam Newman? Yeah. In his story, he had one investor in the beginning. And as usual, the investor invested in him, not in the business. He invested in the founder because he had this bold vision. And it's this, with whom do I want to meet together? I have a couple of people lined up who seriously said, the moment you have the next investment round, reach out to me. I'd be interested in it. And I didn't talk with them about money first. I talked with them about my direction and my vision. And they said, this is amazing. I want to contribute to people's life like this. If there's a way to impact people's life to the better on scale, I want to be part of that. I put my money down because it's for the good. And you probably accumulate quite some cash with that. And in that moment, you're not wasting your energy in the business of debating the direction. You literally just say, hey guys, we're currently stuck in that situation. We have those challenges. And then you're not talking about, but how can I get more money? We need to go that and compromise on employee satisfaction and need to please the market. We need to go on that trend. That's the fast track to death. You talk about, hey, we want to go there. Is there a better way to go there? Is there a more effective way? And maybe we compromise on some revenue for the short term. But that's not why we were in the first place.
I think there's a lot for startup founders who are listening now to take in everything you say, because I think the mindset you have shared to the founders who are listening is so different. Maybe for me, I personally think that you give me a brand new perspective on how to think about a lot of these things. Mm-hmm. And especially in where I've run, as a first-time founder, I run this startup, Tsuin AI, for a year now. Mm-hmm. Of course, I've been pulled in many different directions, as I described just now. And switching this mindset is so important, that you don't let things sway you around when you are on your path to that one goal. Yeah. And it's just the matters of changing that perspective. And I think in Asia, a lot of us founders are really trying to please the VC and tell them the narrative that the VC wants to hear, just to get their buy-ins and all that stuff. I have been pitching on stage for maybe more than 5 times now. Mm-hmm. And many times it's really the narrative, if it's not what the judges like, we don't get to the final, for example. Yeah. It's really tough because the VC themselves or the judges, they have a set of checklists. Yeah. And if you don't pitch according to the checklist, that they grade you 20% on your team, on your founder, 20% on your go-to-market business model, you're just out.
Screw those metrics. Who said it recently? Stephen Bartlett was saying recently that he actually invested into a company because he's Shark Tank. Mm-hmm. I think that's a branch in US. Mm. He's a judge there, and he said he invested recently into one for the reason they disagreed with the judge. They disagreed with the judge, and because of that, he invested in it, because the startup founder knew their shit. They knew, thank you, judge, from the outside perspective, that you're criticizing this might be not a feasible business model, but I know what I'm doing and I disagree with your perspective. A judge has their limits. They have so much capacity to invest certain amount of time and money into the business, and maybe assets, other assets like the network, etc. But they have their limited insights. And that's where the startup founder comes in. They have the insights, they have the clarity, they have the determination, they have the vision. And an investor wants to know that this is trustworthy, that this guy is basically beyond his competency, beyond the investor's competency, that it's worth trusting into this. So what you just described me, I'm not so much in the startup scene actually, I go my path, but what you described me, that most startup founders seem to have an employee and student mindset. Not student in the sense of learning, but more a pupil mindset. Like, I try to please you that you give me good grades. You have the wrong perspective. Switch it. Who are you? You're the guy who found something. You are leading it. So it's not about, can I please you that you are happy that you give me something? Dude, I just developed a solution and I show you a path and a direction where there might be something glorious. So you wanna be part of my journey? Let's talk about that. So the next time you're giving a pitch, it's twist it around and ask in the end, not whether, hey, and I'm offering this kind of shares, would you like to accept this, and would you like to give me money? No. It's, am I basically good enough? I hope I convinced you. No, switch it around and says, so as this is my direction, now let me ask you, how does it align with your vision? Please convince me that you're worthy being on my journey. Because everyone who is not convinced about going that direction is going to be kicked out.
Coming back to when initially you don't understand why people are paying you to coach them and this kind of things, I think I know why, just by this conversation. I think you have your personality. It's like, don't give a fuck mentality.
I give too much of a fuck, but I'm learning to give less of a fuck me over again.
But it's like you have your personality that I think those clients that you coach, I think they really like this part of the personality, like what you mentioned about Stephen Bartlett, who invests in those the startup itself. I think these kind of startups, they have their personality and they go their own path, and I think you have that as well.
You need to empower people.
Yes.
And the startup journey, everyone who's listening and has a startup knows exactly it's not a straightforward line.
It's not.
There are obstacles. It's natural that there is stuff that is getting difficult.
Yeah.
So the last thing you need is that the leader is shaky.
Yeah.
You need the guy who says, okay, it's getting difficult, guys, but remember where we're going. So you're basically fueling as a leader this energy in the people to say, we can do this. As Steve Jobs back then always was described as this, how's it called, reality distortion field.
Yeah.
Like what he just said, like, this is a way. Don't just stop here. Dudes, really, there is a vision. We go there and you can do that. Utilizing the capability of the people who are working with him beyond an extent that they didn't believe they can do. And that feels so good to be part of. That makes me, I can grow here. As I said, the most important area is the self area. And if you are part of a team, whether as an employee or as an investor, that lets you grow as a self, that is fueling you.
Yeah.
And your job as a startup founder is go with me and you're growing.
Amazing.
But I'm not showing you go with me. I'm just showing I want to go there. I'm just sharing you how excited I am to go there. Up to you if you want to join.
There's a great
But I just go there anyway, and I love to have companions. Why not? Let's share it. There's enough for everyone. Let's just share that.
I think you're showing the energy that people are attracted to go to the same direction as you. So last question I have for you. For those startup founders who are listening to you right now, what do you wish for them to know about? Yeah.
I wish they remember why they got into it in the first place. Remember you went there to maximize your good times in the moment and for as long as possible. And I hope you remember that the business you're creating is serving this
life that you want.
This desire, and not the other way around. Don't stick to those means of I have to make this business, I have to make this pitch deck. Like, why am I into this? Get really crystal clear about it, and have some trust in yourself that you say, this is my direction, and I'm welcomed. I welcome advices, but I'm not welcoming interferences in the direction. Remind yourself and ask yourself, if your younger self, that might be a great question, if your younger self was watching your life right now, is it something the younger self would genuinely attracted to developing towards? Like your 10-year-old saying, hey, one day I'm 30 and I'm building my startup and I'm feeling how that is in this life. Is it accelerating me to do more in school and to work towards and grow up? Or is it discouraging me to grow up because ending up there is not enjoyable? And if this is the case, change something. Just period, change it. Make your business work for you, and when it works for you, let it work for others. Take others with you on this journey. And I wish everyone who's listening and has a startup to remember why you're in it. Serve your life and serve the life of other people. And don't become the slave of investors, of other people, advices, what you hear online, whatever.
Do you have a book about what you have developed, the GTR ratio and all that stuff?
Oh, thank you for asking me. I'm about to. I prepared everything. I have to put it on paper.
Wow,
But you can check out the podcast who is about to be launched, and check out more on chrisw.co. And if you want to make the assessment yourself, how well your life is currently working for you, go on GoodTime.app. That's our prototype, our web application. And on GoodTime.app, you can make an assessment in 10 to 20 minutes and see your dashboard.
Wow.
And see how well it's working for you and what it's influencing it.
Awesome.
And for learning more about it, check me out on social media. Instagram, I think it's chrisw.gt. And I am sharing more there.
Awesome. I'll put the links down the description and the speaker notes. And I can't wait for you to read that book that you'll be writing about. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Audrey.